Decrease age of first use, huge. Change the perceptions that youth and adults have regarding underage drinking, marijuana use, prescription drug abuse. And these are some of our members, just to highlight. Again, a lot of folks sitting around these tables, very, very thankful. This has been key to getting the work done. These aren't just folks who are sitting at the table and just not doing anything but being a figurehead. They're actively involved and really participating. We have a wonderful partnership with the city. They have started, as a result of that social host law change, they have started the social host task force. And we get to sit at that table with some folks who are willing to go the extra mile to share this information with folks in the community and provide for greater enforcement. With Dublin City Schools, we have dedicated staff every time we meet at our meetings saying, what can we do? How can we partner, and how can we help? And they have been wonderful. They supply us with great support for the Dublin Act Youth Council in particular. And you can see a whole host of other groups that some of you may be involved in. And so, what I'd like to do is share a couple of our exciting highlights, things that we've gotten into, and things you may have seen around the community but didn't know they were connected to Dublin Act. And those that'll give you an even greater picture of what it is that we're doing. So with our Dublin Act Youth Council, every fall we put out applications. Teens can apply to be involved. And what we're really asking for is, can they make the commitment to be alcohol, tobacco, and other drug-free for that school year. So every year we revisit that. And those teens meet every 6 weeks at the Dublin Community Recreation Center. And we have Dublin City School staff there, and we also have a volunteer advisor from an organization called Youth to Youth here in Franklin County. It's a drug prevention peer leadership program that exists here. And the teens come in and they really form into subcommittees and create projects, whatever it is that they're passionate about at that time, and we give them a voice to share their concerns. And we empower them to do these projects on their own. These aren't teens who are just sitting around a table. They're getting in, they're rolling up their sleeves, and they're really doing the work. And they're being thoughtful about what it is that they want to put out there. That pause survey that we talked about earlier, they're using that data to say, what are our friends saying? Not just what are my circle of friends saying, but as a district, what are our friends saying? And so some of the things they put together, parent awareness activities. They wrote a letter to parents of 9th and 10th graders last year. And they included, and I'll show a bigger picture, but this top graphic is of a magnet that they created, highlighting some of the pause data that talks about the change in messages we seem to be giving our teens. In 8th grade, we have a very strong message, it seems, or that's what they're receiving, that underage drinking is unacceptable. But by the time they reach 12th grade, that number drastically changes in what we as adults are sharing with them and what we're saying is okay and not okay for them to be engaged in. And they still are, in fact, under 21. Positive Social Norms campaign. A lot of our teens hear all the time, which this is good, and it plays a part in prevention, how many folks are using, right? In the media, in health classes, we hear a lot of that. Who's engaged? Who's using? How are they using? What's going on? Where are they using? What our teens are saying is, we want to flip that around, and we want to do some positive marketing, and we want to talk about and empower the teens who aren't using, and kind of lift them up and highlight them and give them center stage for a little while. And then there's research that shows that this works with their peers, because a lot of times they're the silent majority. Not all teens are using alcohol. Not all teens are smoking marijuana or using prescription drugs. But when you hear it so often in the media and in circles of conversation, you start to believe it's true. So perception is reality. So for them, they're trying to show not true. And again, using that data and then using some of their own personal stories to give support to their peers. So it's going to be a really exciting campaign. They started with just the numbers of how many teens aren't using. They did that a couple years ago. And this year, they're really interested in putting out cutouts of themselves or different peer groups, representatives and things like that around the community with kind of maybe a bubble that says why I'm choosing not to use, or maybe sharing some of those stats. So if you have a business and you would ever be interested in having one of those up for a month, a cardboard cutout, another community did it and our teens thought it was a very cool way to get the message out. And they're looking at possibly doing it during that prom graduation season. Dublin Irish Festival, they attend all of the mandatory, if you've been to the alcohol server trainings, they attend all of those and they're listening to what is the content. What's exciting is they're then able to share that feedback. And we just heard this last year from Lieutenant DeJarnette. He's like, we heard last year you wanted consistency with the officers presenting. We heard what you said and we made the change. Very exciting. Again, just shows a lot about the city of Dublin and how receptive you are to what it is that we're doing. And then they have some middle school presentations that they do specifically focused on prescription drug abuse and sharing some information about what that means and what's going on. This is the magnet, just a larger